You still got those guys in there?
So I just want to thank everybody that has been a part of my life in this journey. It's just been a strange thing for me. A lot of people ask me, so what are you being recognized for again? And what's this Hall of Fame all about? And it's kind of interesting, but I say, well, it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. And so in saying that and hearing myself say that, I began to realize two things, one good, one bad. Hey, I've accomplished some great things that are worth recognizing, but again, now I'm old. And so I had to deal with that and reconcile that. One of my friends came with me, Eric Franklin and his wife, and Eric and I are colleagues over at Raytheon. And he said, so what are you going to get, a gold jacket now? And I said, no, that's the NFL, so sorry, no gold jacket. But the truth is that, I didn't have really any kind of goals to ever be in the Hall of Fame. That wasn't what motivated me in my life. I didn't have a goal to be a decorated officer in the Army. I didn't have a goal to work for a large Silicon Valley company or even the largest defense contractor in the world. Those weren't my goals. My goals were very simple growing up. And I had those goals established when I was very young. When I was 4 years old, my mother got divorced from my father. And so in that moment, I had to realize something about life, and that sometimes things don't work out the way you think they should. Sometimes you don't have the people in your life that you think you need. But you know what? You can't quit. You can't give up. You can't let that be the thing that defines you. And so what happened was at 4, my mother, because she was hurt and she was upset and bitter, began to tell me things like, your dad doesn't love you. Don't be like your dad. And so hearing that over and over again as I was growing up, the number one goal that I had was to not be like my dad. And you know how it is in families that are riddled by divorce and irresponsibility. I didn't have any male figures in my family after that. My grandfathers weren't available. My dad wasn't available. My mother married another guy that really didn't care about us. All I did was make sure that we changed our names. So Raul Almazan really isn't my name. So think about the imposter syndrome that you get when you come up here, right? My real name is Raul Ronquillo Fermin III. And so that's kind of strange because that name was taken on by my father's other kids. They took on that name, and so my name was changed to Raul Almazan when I was 8. So I had to learn to understand the whole world and the confusion that created. But when I was growing up, and my grandmother died when I was 12, then there was one more goal that I had, and that was the second most important goal, was that to be a grandfather, because there were no more grandparents in my family now, so I was going to be a grandfather. So very simple goals, that's all I had. When I think about the Hall of Fame and all the things that I've done along the way to get there, it's just been to meet those two goals, which are sitting right there at that table. My lovely wife that I've been married to for 40 years, high school sweetheart, met her in Gene Troutner's math class. God bless you, Gene Troutner. Again, Toby Levetter, Mr. Levetter's dad actually married us in the backyard of my wife's family's home. Levetter was another example that I had in my life. Again, didn't have any male figures to look up to, right? So I looked up to Roland. I had no choice. Roland was always in my face telling me to hold the ball. I learned how to be aggressive. I learned how to be tenacious. But more than anything, I learned how to respect a man. Because I didn't. I didn't know what that was until I met Roland. And the folks there that helped me understand that, you know what? Stay on the yellow brick road. You'll get there. One day you'll be that Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. And who knows? I told Peggy, who was also here with me, who took me aside when I was a sophomore in high school and actually gave me custom tutoring to get me ready for college. And it actually taught me and trained me and gave me opportunities, filled out applications for me to get accepted to Brown University, to get accepted to Stanford, Notre Dame, schools that I would never have imagined that a kid that lived in South Tucson, 6th Street and 6th Avenue and 33rd Street between two bars, with no real leadership in his home, not aware that all this turmoil was going on the inside of me, and I needed them. Because as I grew up and I began to understand something about my life, I realized that there was only one more goal that was more important than everything else, and that was that Jesus Christ had to change my life and make me who I really was meant to be. Because I had to believe that there was more to life available than what I was seeing, what I was experiencing. And so I learned the scripture, 1 Corinthians 13:13, which says that, and there's three, faith, hope, and love. And love is the greatest of these things. And 13 is my number, right? My number in basketball, my number in football. So I learned hope. I learned that, you know what? When it comes to faith, that you got to understand that there are a lot of risks in life. There are a lot of circumstances in life that are going to try to beat you down. They're going to kind of tell you what you are and what you're not. But you know what? You got to believe that you can take that adventure. You can risk, and you can do something with your life. I knew my way out was to go to college. I knew my way out was to be a father. I knew my way out was to one day be a grandfather. And my 2 grandchildren right there. So literally. So again, this is a great honor, but I'm done. Right? This is the best of all. And so thank you again for all that you've done for me. And in terms of supporting me, those here at the table that are with me, I'm thankful for everybody that's been on the journey with me. And I know that I hope that there's always going to be better things for us as we go on. And I know that people have loved me when I haven't been worth loving. Because we all know what that's like. We're not perfect just because we come up here. Right? One thing that my wife's family told me, and this is kind of unorthodox, but they said, don't live like your poop don't stink. And I realized, you know what, this is a great honor, but I'm just a man, I'm a thankful man, and I'm a believer that, you know what, God can do great things in people's lives, and it doesn't matter what your circumstances is, don't let those things stop you. Hope, have faith, and have love. Thank you.